those come from the Brahmin. Like all things, the people in South Africa couldn't decide if they want red or black, so of course they just go for both. We have red and black Brangus, we also have red and white Brahmin, and that sort of thing. Anyway, if we look at them, the basis is a 3/8 Brahmin, 5/8 Angus, unlike the Simbra, which actually 3/8, 5/8 in any which way you like. But if we look at the Brangus, it is a breed that is a very, very well developed breed in South Africa. It's a tough breed. Was it 2 years ago we were judging at Harrismith in the snow, and the Brangus, nothing happened to them. They were quite happy. The people who were the most unhappy were the SPCA. But I must say they were very, very good about it. And when they saw that those cattle weren't even shivering, they weren't too unhappy. The Brangus started in 1963 in this country, bred by a guy called Raymond Green from Ladysmith. I was actually at the university with his son, and they're still breeding those cattle. Matthew, you buy a lot, so you buy a lot of Brangus from the Greens, from the Greens. So, and these from Middle So this is coming from, you know where these cattle are coming from. They're coming all the way from Natal. They had a passport when they came across the border. But yeah, the Brangus has done very, very well in this country. And the beauty of the Brangus is it's run mostly as a commercial breed. It's not like some other breeds where the guy's got 3 cows that he paid 150,000 Rand for, and of course, because he's paid that big money, you know, everyone's got a name, and every calf's got a name, even if it's a bum calf, it's still a stupid bull. Unfortunately. The Brangus guys have a very, very little sentiment, and that's the right way of doing that. Run those cattle commercially. And even when we have a show every year, they have one show a year, the national championships, every animal that's on the show has to be sold. Those championships are held at Harrismith every year. The Brangus has done well in the slaughter stock competitions over time. Of course, in the smaller areas, it's a lot easier to do well. But the main crowning glory of the Brangus is that in 2010, it actually won the South African national carcass. And that carcass, strangely enough, came from other side Kuruman. The Brangus is, and this is one of the things about the Brangus, it's very, very well established, and it's a very tough breed. So we find them in places like Tarkastan, where they have snow every year, to Kuruman, Mafeking, those areas where they have to walk extensive distances. So it's a very tough, well-established commercial breed. And the beauty is, as I said, the guys who run those cattle run them with little sentiment. They're all performance tested, and those are the sort of things we like to have, we'd like to see. Are there any questions, ladies and gentlemen? None. But what about you, Steve? You're not even here saying.
It's a breed that I don't know, and being the back slicing, it slices beautifully. There's a lot of intramuscular fat.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's an Angus, but of course, there again, when we look at meat, I think we all know, and I have mentioned it before, there's more variation within a breed than between breeds. So yeah, we are going to get maybe 1 or 2 tough Brangus, but we're getting very, very tender Brangus also. In America, they did tests, and 97.6% of the Brangus meat was classified as tender. But if you chase that animal around, you know, three times around the abattoir and then try to slaughter it, you're going to have a dark cutter, you're going to have tough meat. But we try to avoid those things. Indeed. Yeah. And generally that meat is good quality. A little bit of tenderness, a little bit of marbling coming in there. Of course, if we slaughter them a bit later, we'd have a lot more marbling like we saw last month.
And I remember the Afrikaner guy that came and spoke here, he said how amazing intelligence they were.
The Afrikaners.
How do you rate
We're going to have a Boer war up here. The Brangus are very good cattle. Let's put it this way. The Brangus, a Brahmin on itself, they are either bloody wild or they are so tame they're a pain. Angus is the same. The only animal that's really stalked me in a ring has been a Brangus. Honestly, the thing was almost like a lion. It was on, you know, on its low on its front legs like that.
But you guys are looking okay, yeah?
What worried me was actually from the back also. comes to temperament, a lot of it is how you handle those cattle. If you handle your cattle properly, they're going to have a good temperament. If you get any animal that's got a poor temperament, you get rid of it as soon as possible. And one of the advantages of Brangus is they are all polled, and that comes from the ankles. You don't want to sit there and worry about cattle with horns, because those horns are bad. Oh, polled. It's got no horns. It's got no horns. They are bred, the Angus doesn't have horns, and it's a homozygous for polled factor. So it carries that polled factor over onto its offspring. And that's the important thing. We don't want horns in the beef industry. It's coming from behind. And Matthew will tell you, in a feedlot, horns are bad news. And also, in Europe, the dehorning has become a big thing. You have to have anesthetic and things like that. And anyway, dehorning cattle is no fun. But it's just very painful. But, so yeah, that poll factor is a very good thing. Does that answer your question? All right, thank you.